it up and get it in for the anthology, then uh, that's what I'll be sending in. Some of my adventures as a town girl coming to the farm.
Oh, fun, fun.
Adjustment factors.
There was adjustment. Yes, there was.
Yeah, I can imagine. Hi, Kim.
How are you?
I'm good. We're just
Good.
chit-chatting.
Well, good deal. I was trying to get everything posted so I could set reminders on all the pages that everybody could log in.
Okay.
No, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to actually see. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I can't do this without my glasses on. I'm like, I know.
Good, but it's been a while. How are y'all doing,
Yeah.
Jerome and Babette? It's good to see y'all.
We're doing pretty well. We're kind of hunkering down with the COVID.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's everybody.
Doing much traveling.
Yes. That's what I miss most.
Yeah, it seems
Absolutely.
face to face. Yes.
Okay, let's see.
But it sparked my family because we're scattered all over the place. We now have a monthly Zoom meeting for everybody
Oh,
invited.
that's nice.
Yeah.
My nephew in Germany joined us at 3 a.m. over there.
Oh, bless his
Nice.
heart. Okay.
Oh, but he was excited just to see his brother and and the rest of the family.
Well, yeah. Okay.
I think
dig.
it has really made us appreciate our family and friends more. When your time with them is so limited, I think when we do have that time, it's people don't take it for granted.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
so Jerome, what do you write?
Mostly technical with occasional fiction.
So I see your NASA shirt. Are you in aerospace or aeronautics or?
Well, almost. Junior high kids I taught were pretty spaced out.
Oh. And we found our comedian in the group.
Oh, yes.
Uh,
Oh, yes.
I'm a teacher turned farmer.
I'm sorry?
I'm a teacher turned farmer.
And we're both
Okay.
amateur astronomers. You can see telescopes and photos and things like that around.
Nice.
Okay.
And we do outreach, astronomy outreach. So when
that's fun.
we get human beings in a place, we set up our telescopes and do programs, and we're part of a thing with NASA called the Night Sky Network, and for Girl Scouts and Boy Scouts and all kinds of things. So we do star parties.
That sounds fun. We had a book that Fawkes Press released actually last September called Hannah Goodhart and the Guardian of Time. Excuse me, it was October. But anyway, it's a young adult book, but it starts with them in the middle of a North Texas pasture watching a meteor shower.
Oh.
That's how the book starts. So when we started, to work on the launch, we're like, well, obviously we've got to do something. We couldn't arrange for a meteor shower, so we hired out a planetarium.
Oh, yes.
And it was so much fun. The guy at the planetarium was amazing. He made a special show just for us. Oh. And it was so fun. So, I was, I'm sorry?
Where was it located? Where was it at?
It was actually at a high school in Grand Prairie. I was shocked because I was looking, at the museums and things that have planetariums. And then I discovered there's like a dozen high schools in Texas that have planetariums.
Wow.
Yes.
No idea.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't think my high school even had a telescope, much less a planetarium. Oh. But apparently this one, it's at the high school, but during the school year, what they do all year is that the Grand Prairie is a pretty big district. So all the classes bus in, one at a time to have their planetarium experience instead of going to a museum or something. So, and it was very nice. I was shocked, absolutely shocked. But it was such a lovely time, and now we're like, well, what else can we do where we have a planetarium launch? We need we're going to need to do that again.
Yeah. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Well, it says Mike is here. Mike, are you there? Maybe he's just logged on and he hasn't set his recorder yet, or
Right.
his I don't know words. Microphone.
His stuff, his technical stuff. Yes. Writers know words, lots.
So many.
Yes, big words, tremendous words. So.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah, I hope I have everything here with me because like most people who do a Zoom video, I've got my blouse on top and sweatpants on bottom. So when I sat down, I was like, okay, do I have everything? Because I do not want to stand.
Yep, stand up, boys.
Yes.
Very nice. Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, at least I matched the sweats to the blouse. So, if I do.
Fun.
Yes.
Good morning.
Hello.
Hi.
Now, I'm assuming you're not Thomas.
No, I'm Debbie.
Okay.
Hi, Debbie.
Hi. Tom's got the account. I'm just piggybacking on it.
All right. Good deal.
Very good.
Good deal. Yeah, Mike's muted. I see that now.
See, I see a lanyard hanging up behind you. Is that from VoucherCon?
Yeah.
No? It is
From-
from VoucherCon?
Yeah, from last year.
Yeah, yay. That was so much fun.
Yeah, I had a great time. I was sad it wasn't going on this year. Well, except
I know.
for
Yeah. Although I'm not sure I would have made it out to California, but
I've got a daughter out there.
Oh,
nice. Well, it was very easy when it was, 30 minutes away from me.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, that is nice. Yeah, next year is New Orleans again. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Oh, I could do that.
Yeah.
in August.
Oh.
Yeah,
Not
it's going to be in August, and that's hot and muggy there.
Yeah, I'm just going to warn you now, my hair going to be, yeah, because it's all pulled back now, but it's got just enough natural curl to be dangerous, not enough natural curl to be actually curly. So when there's humidity, I just look like I put my finger in a light socket. So.
Yep.
The year after next year, BusherCon will be in Massachusetts. In
November?
In November.
Okay.
I like that. I've never been to Massachusetts.
I haven't either.
Do you know what town?
I can't remember off the top of my head, no.
So I'm going to venture out that you write mystery.
Cozies, yes.
Cozies. Oh, I am about to embark on writing my very first cozy.
Ooh.
So I've been reading a lot. What name do you publish under?
I'm not published yet.
Yet.
I'm struggling.
Very good. Have you taken any cozy specific classes?
No.
Okay.
I haven't found any yet.
Yeah, I've looked into them, and Molly Fitz, her class was one that was recommended to me. And I'm taking another class with her that's not cozy related, it's marketing related. And I really liked it. I mean, I like her teaching style and everything, but I read one of her cozies and I didn't love it. So I thought, do I want her to teach me how to write the cozy?
Yeah,
and then there's one by Sarah Rosette. And I took a small class from her and liked her teaching style. And I liked her cozies, but the class is like $300-$400.
Oh.
And I was like, well, that's an investment. That's a real investment. So I don't know, but I'm still looking for something that is, that hit that intersection of it's somebody whose books I enjoy, and a fun teaching style and costs less than my arm.
Yeah, yeah. $300-400 is kind of out of my budget.
Yeah, it's a little steep when you don't know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Good morning.
Hi.
Good morning, Nan.
Hi, Dan.
Hello. We have more people added. So since I'm going around the room asking. Oh, I skipped Kim. What do you write, Kim?
Everything.
You sound like me.
I've got some mysteries, espionage, and a couple of children's books and a couple of Christian historical fiction.
Oh, fun. And are you published?
Yes. Yes.
What name do you publish under?
Kimberly Black for children and Christian fiction, and Kim Black for mysteries and
Nice. I will look your books up. And Donna, what about you? What do you write?
Well, I'm in the process of writing my first book, but I do science fantasy or fantasy.
Okay, fun. And Nan, what do you write?
I'm writing a historical fiction serial. I have one book published. The second is ready to go to the printer. The other 3 are 80% finished.
Oh, wow. You're productive.
Well, it's taken many eons.
Many years. Yeah. And does it, do you publish under Nan Ranella? Is that how you say it?
I do. Yes,
Okay.
Ranella.
I'll have to look all these up. So, and Kim, I'll just keep chatting until you're ready to start. So you just tell me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to wait. What time is it? It's right at 10. So
It's just right at 10.
like 5 more minutes, and then I think we'll start. We usually have a few that log on just a minute or 2 late. So
Okay. So, Debbie, hi. So I'm just asking questions. What do you write? Oh, you're muted.
she's muted.
There it goes. Can you hear
There
me?
it goes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I wrote a young adult novel, and now I'm working on a novel about the railroad.
Oh, fun. And is the railroad novel adult or young adult or?
It's definitely adult. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I
And
spent 10 years on the railroad, so it's all the stories that I heard that I've collected.
that sounds interesting. And is your YA published?
No, it turned out to be boring.
So that's your sits in a drawer book that you
It is.
get it out and it sits in a drawer and then you go on to bigger and better things.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
nice. Hi, Betty.
Hi.
Hi, and
Oh no, everybody froze up.
and the videos and everything. We're actually going to talk about those today.
Good.
So-
I need to get it on Author Central, and then I'll have that part done.
Yeah, very good. And Mathis,
Hello.
you write, hi. No, I don't know what you write. I'm thinking of somebody else. I was thinking of James. What do you write?
I write gay romance that goes all the way.
Oh, okay. Do you write under the name Mathis Rogers?
Yes, Mathis B. Rogers.
Okay, well, I'm going to have to check out your books. I may have to to have a fan while I do so, but
Yeah.
and do you are you with a press or do you self-publish those?
I
or
self-publish, yes. Yeah.
there's
And also for people who don't want to mess with trying to find a publisher, I'll publish it for you.
Oh, nice. So I may have to touch base with you later because people a lot of times come to me and want to do that process, like a hybrid process, but we don't do that. We only do traditional. So I always like to have some people I can send them to that can help them through and that I trust. So, we'll talk later.
Okay.
Hi, Vicki.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. So I'm going around the room asking, what do you write?
I write family sagas. 2 are historical. 1 is contemporary women's fiction, but it's all the same family.
Nice. And are you published?
Yes.
Under what name?
My legal name, Vicki Shane.
Vicki Shane.
SCHOEN.
Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to look up everybody's books when we're done. So, of course, I'm going to have to wait for the replay because I haven't been writing down these names I'm asking. So,
there you go.
but I like to look up everybody's books and see where they're at. So,
Yeah.
very good. It sounds like we have a good mix of experienced or I would say established authors and those just getting started. So,
yeah, we usually do.
Yeah.
Which is
Hi,
nice.
Mike. Let's see. You write YA, is that right?
Yeah, upper middle grade, young adult fantasy.
Okay, that's what I thought. I'd make sure I had the right mic. I'm just going around the room asking everybody what they write and getting to know people while we're waiting for everybody to check in. So, and I'll mention it here. I know some of you are on, I have a Facebook page. It's not super active right now because, 2020, but it's called Get Blitzed with J&J, and it came out of a class that I did at DFW Writers Conference on marketing. And it's just kind of a safe place for people to discuss what they're doing with marketing. Once a month, we check in with everybody. When I can get it together or when my co-presenter can get it together, we may post information on a specific a new site that we found. Like I think I'm probably gonna put something up next week about this new site, Storygraph, which we're going to talk about later, and give a little bit of information for that, and just try to kind of help people along if somebody is looking for a, if Sticker Mule is having a sale or somebody's having a sale on bookmarks, we'll put that on there. So like I said, it's not super active. It's probably not going to revolutionize the way you work, but it's fun. It's nice. Betty's on there. Mike, are you on there?
I don't think so.
Don't think so. I know you're on some other things. So it might be that Mike is the only one here on that spot. I know Misty Walzer is on it, and Chris is on it. So anyway, if you would like to be added to that, it is a private group. You can't find it by searching, and you have to fill out the little form to get accepted into it. But if you are interested in that, at the end of this, I'm going to have my email up. Shoot me an email, tell me you want access, and I'll send you the link to get you in. So it's just a little something. Like I said, it's a safe space. So
cool. Well, I think we're about 7 minutes after 10. So I just want to make a couple of announcements real quick before we start. If there's anybody on here who has not turned in a short story for the anthology, the deadline is September 30th. I almost said 31st, but that's not a thing. So, we're really close to making our 125 pages. So if you haven't turned in a short story, please, please, please do that. Go online, make your $10 payment and submit that, and we'll get it going. If we don't make 125 pages, we're combining with next year because 2020. So also, Jodi has graciously provided some resources for us today, some printables, and some things just to keep. One's an Excel spreadsheet that has resources. The other one is Goodreads best practices, and they're really helpful. I've already kind of looked through them and went, oh, and highlighted the ones that I'm going to need to go to later. Those are going to be available immediately following this on our website, and I will try to get that link to that page on our Facebook page too. So that being said, I would just like to present the lovely and talented Jodi Thompson from Fawkes Press.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Before we start, I want to say I had been working on this presentation. Thursday night, I decided I didn't like it. And so I dumped what I had and I started completely over. So if some of my slides are out of order or I seem to be relying heavily on my notes, please offer me a little bit of grace because I just finished this about 12 hours ago. So you're hearing it the first time just like me. So
Sounds like a true author.
that's right. I mean, it's like I work best under pressure, I guess. But okay, Kim, can you turn on screen sharing for me?
I think I have that, but let me check. If it's not, I tried to do.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. See if I can make this work.
There's always a little bit of lag to do that.
Share.
Yay!
And
there it is.
Yay! Okay. All right. So here we go. So sell your books and save your soul, because selling can feel dirty even on a good day. And when you throw in a global pandemic, meth gators, and government confirmation of otherworldly visitors, it feels like you're just piece by piece weighing your soul out to the highest bidder. So we want to talk about how we can sell keeping our dignity intact. And you can do it virtually and ick-free. So the first things are pretty basic, but please bear with me because even if it doesn't apply to you, it may apply to somebody else in the group. And as Kim said, you've got references after, so you don't have to worry about keeping notes on everything. Okay, let me see if I can make this work now. There we go. Okay, so why does selling feel so gross? There's top 3 reasons. You don't feel like you or your product are worthy. You see other people who do it wrong, and you don't want people to think that you're like that. And everybody knows who I'm talking about. Or you don't know your audience. So, is your product the best that it can be? I know that the temptation is to finish your book and just get it out in the world as quickly as you can. Everybody, you've worked so hard, you want everybody to see it. Don't. Especially if you're self-publishing. Make sure that your manuscript has gone through developmental editing, copy editing before it goes to layout. Then send it to a pair of fresh eyes for proofreading. This is very important. Don't skimp on any of these steps, but especially don't skimp on proofreading. Even if you do have a very robust proofreading process, after the book is published, you're going to find a mistake. That's just the nature of the game, but you can minimize it. So don't skip those steps. Now, the description on the back of your book, it is not a synopsis of the book. It's a commercial. So you need to make sure that you're not just telling everybody what happens. You want to give them just enough that they want to read. Brian Cohen frequently runs a completely free seminar on how to write a book blurb, a cover blurb. And it is chock full of valuable information. It will totally revamp the way that you do. I'll tell you, after I took the course, I went back and I redid all our book descriptions. So that's how good it is. I'll warn you, the first half is full of great information. The second half is basically just a commercial for his services because, oh, excuse me, got a cat up here. Ah! Rocky, get down. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Let's get rid of. Oh gosh.
Don't
Where are
read
we? Right
ahead.
here. Okay. So now we've had our interruption. That was Rocky, everyone. she likes to she likes attention. So anyway, the second half is a commercial for his services, which are insanely expensive in my opinion, but get that fixed there. It's worth it to sit through it. Then you revamp your owns and be proud of how much money you saved. So it is a good thing. Your cover, in addition to the blurb being a commercial and not a synopsis, it needs to be professionally done, and it needs to match the story and the genre conventions. It has to look like it belongs on the shelf besides other books of the same genre. So I'm going to show you an example here. This book was handed to me. I did a small seminar and I offered to read and review books by anybody who sat through the seminar. It was very small. So she hands me this book and I'm like, oh, okay, because it's you know, a brooding male, an attractive female, the Eiffel Tower, very modern international romance kind of thing, which just isn't my jam. Then I read it and immediately called her and said, you got to redo this cover because it's not this at all. It is historic paranormal romance. So it's actually historical fiction with romantic and paranormal elements. It was a great book. So just changing this cover, it's obviously now historic, right? Because you got that sepia tone, you got the older clothing and car model, still have the Eiffel Tower in there. And it does look like romance, but not modern romance. So what happened when it was recovered was that immediately her sales increased because now it was attracting the right people. Beforehand, people that wanted contemporary romance were attracted by the cover. You have that little thumbnail. They were attracted by it. They look at it, they read the description, and they're like, oh, this isn't what I want. But once it was recovered, it was attracting the right people. They read the blurb. Yeah, this is perfect. They buy. So her sales increased. It was just a complete turnaround. So make sure it matches. And there was nothing wrong with the other cover had it matched the book. So make sure, sorry, my pages are sticking together. So the cover is your first piece of marketing. So make sure that you hit it. Okay, so right here I have 5 covers from books that have come out in the last couple of years. And I want you to look at those and tell me if you can tell the difference. They're all YA, but can you tell me which one is Big 5, which one is small press, and which one is indie? Because there's some of all of those represented. And to be truthful, I know 2 of them just because I've read the book and I know read the books and I know who did them. But otherwise, I've forgotten which is which, and that's how it should be. You shouldn't be able to tell if it came from an indie or a small press or one of the Big 5. They should all sit together on the shelf and not scream at the other. So if you have taken all these steps to make sure that your book is the best that it can be, then you can move forward knowing that your book is worthy. It's worthy of the attention. But if you have taken shortcuts, you need to go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. And while you're sitting in jail, you take that time to fix your book. Okay? You'll feel good about selling your book if your book is good. So if you feel icky when you're selling, take a good look at your book. That might be the reason. Okay, so we're good, right? Because all those things make you ready for sale, make you ready for marketing. Nope. So this is going to be controversial, but if you want your book sold in brick and mortar stores, do not use Amazon KDP for printing. Used to be CreateSpace. The reason is that it is the #1 competition for brick and mortar stores. They don't want Amazon in their store. It would be like a Pepsi machine putting Coke in it. They don't want to do that. Somebody's going to tell you a story, and there may be somebody in here today that will say, I did my book through CreateSpace and it's in this bookstore. Those are outliers. Most indies will not carry an Amazon book. Let me put it this way, most brick and mortar won't carry an Amazon printed book, period. Now, something that I heard speaking to a group of librarians, and I haven't independently confirmed how widespread this is, but they say that they don't usually order the Amazon produced books, and we're talking print books now, not ebooks, that they don't usually purchase those unless they're specifically requested by patrons. So that's something you really need to consider. It's not an issue if you don't care if you're in brick and mortar stores, and a lot of people don't. They just want to sell the books. They don't care if they're sitting on a shelf. However, if that's a deal breaker for you, if you want to be able to walk into your local bookstore and see your book on the shelf, you want to think long and hard about who you're going to use for a printer and distributor. So, just like everything in life, kids, jobs, houses, The first one is the most difficult. The marketing gets easier with each additional title. That first book is not going to just sit and languish forever. Eventually, it's going to be part of your backlist. If you're doing a series, it will probably catch fire about book 3. That's typical. Unless, of course, you're already known, in which case people from your previous series will start the new series at book 1. And if you're doing standalones, same thing. After you've got a couple books out there, you build a little bit of a fan base, then you start getting more sales of your backlist. So it's absolutely possible to market a standalone book, but it gets easier with each one. So just don't be discouraged if you're still on that first book and it seems like things are slow. It won't always be. So now, what are we missing from this whole thing? Did you notice that we are talking about getting your book in order, and we haven't been talking about you? Because unless you are a nonfiction author whose experience is what is selling the book, you are not the product. Your book is the product. So you need to keep your author persona separate from private you. Don't mix your social media accounts. Keep your personal accounts locked down and limited to people you know and trust. And you'll see authors that are sharing, pictures of their gardens and the behind the scenes thing. That's great, but it's curated. They're doing it from their author account, and they're very careful about what they share, and that's how it should be. You want to show your dog wearing a sweater. You don't want to show the political signs in your front yard. You need to keep it very basic. And I know for some people that's hard. It's hard for me sometimes to not get political on my business page. But unless that is your brand, then you need to keep them separate. So everyone knows someone who's trying to sell a book, or they're selling vitamins, or they're selling houses, and you do everything in your deck of cards to avoid them at every opportunity and avoid their social media feeds, because they are the emotional equivalent of stepping on a Lego. I mean, they're just, and you know who I'm talking about again. So the good news is that you are worried that you might be perceived this way. You're already ahead of the game. Self-awareness is a beautiful thing. So if you're worried about it, you're probably good. If you're not worried about it, you might want to take a hard look at yourself. But if you keep your professional and personal lives separate, it really shouldn't be an issue. This doesn't mean you can't ever mention the book outside of your professional page. It just means don't post your buy links 3 times a week. You shouldn't even do that on your professional page, because if all you give your fans are buy my book, buy my book, buy my book, they're going to stop interacting. They're going to stop listening. So try not to post more than one buy my book to every about 3 or 4 other kind of posts. Now, some exceptions for that might be like in launch week, things like that are, you're going to have a very limited amount of time where you're going to really push it. Maybe if you're doing a big pre-order push. But outside of those very limited times, then you don't want to just constantly be hounding them with buy, buy, buy. Isn't that a song? I think that's like a 98 Degrees song or something. So do you really know your audience? A lot of times authors want to believe that their audience is everybody. Everybody's going to love my book. That's not true. And your book may be really amazing, and it may have a wide audience, but it has a specific audience. I mean, even things that are huge sellers like the Harry Potter series, you think everybody's read Harry Potter. Go out on the street and start asking people. Not everybody has. And of those that have read it, not everybody loves it. So your audience is not everyone. You should already know in general who your audience is, because that's based on your genre, really. So that's where you should focus your selling. So if you try to sell a true crime book at an elementary school carnival, it's going to feel very awkward. If you try to sell a barbecue manual at a vegan fest, I don't know what's going to happen, but it won't be good. So if you are trying to sell to a specific audience and it just feels gross, that's because they're not your audience. And I know this seems very simple, but if you get that with any of this stuff, that bad feeling, you're probably going down the wrong road. You need to back up a couple of steps and reevaluate what you're doing. It really is that simple. So in broad strokes, you can define your audience by genre. Beyond that, you may be able to go to subgenre, like the one that we looked at with the changed cover, the historic fiction with paranormal and romantic elements. You can find authors who write similar books called comp authors, comp titles, because their audience is likely your audience. So now you have an idea of who your audience is, but do you know where they hang out? So since in-person events are out of the question right now, let's look at where your audience is hiding online and how you can reach them. But before we do that, I want to bring attention to socialmediaexaminer.com. There is some paid content on this page, but the majority of it is free, and it's very understandable for the non-tech types. Basically, if I can read through it and figure out how to do something online, anybody can. So if there's something you want to know how to do specifically with social media, this is a place you want to go to. And another word about social media is that you don't have to do all of them. It is much better to find one or two that you're really comfortable with and you do really well than to try to do all of them and do a poor job of it. So the people that have, you know, all the social media accounts and they're all active, and they usually have people working for them that keep that stuff up. And if you're trying to write more books and do this, something's got to give. So find a couple that you feel really good about and stick with those. You can save a lot of time if you pre-schedule posts, which are pretty easy to do depending on which media you're looking at. I would recommend that you sit down and schedule 2 to 3 posts per week. But in addition to that, you're going to want to make organic posts. So organic posts are the kind where, you know, you walk outside and there's a beautiful sunset, so you snap a picture and you share that on your page with, you know, this is hashtag Texas skies or something like that. Those are organic posts. The only thing about that is that you have to really be aware of what's going on in the world, because if you've scheduled some goofy memes 2 weeks ago and then some tragedy happens, breaking news, you don't want to have all of these posts. Like last night after the news about Justice Ginsburg was released, my Facebook feed was full of nothing but that. People commenting on that. It was a huge breaking news, a somber time. Even for people that weren't fans of her, they could recognize the solemnity of it. So if I had pre-scheduled something like this, that meme that was the stepping on a Lego, that would have been highly inappropriate. People would have scrolled through that, probably not realized that it was scheduled 2 weeks ago, saw it in the middle of that and think, oh, that's horrible. And they would remember my name, but for the wrong reasons. So if you pre-schedule, you have to stay on top of what's happening in the world. And if something happens, you just pop in and you hit the pause button. It's super easy to stop those posts, but you have to be aware of what's happening. So one way to remember that is to not be the Lego on the floor. Okay, so here we have a snapshot of social media usage among adults. So you don't have to break it down too far to see that the majority of Americans are on social media at least once per day. It doesn't take much to realize that that for those services to remain free, they're going to have to continue to serve ads. So like it or not, social media is here to stay, and it will be ad supported. So who is on Facebook? Almost everyone. I mean, look at those numbers. You can see that the upper and lower ranges, not as many people are on, but some genres are especially active, like cozy mysteries and romance. They are super, super active on Facebook. So you need to think about not just the age and gender of your typical reader, but also if there's a community with them that's very active on Facebook. So what can you do on Facebook? So the most basic thing to do is to have an author page to interact with your fans. If you write under more than one name, you need to have more than one page because you have more than one set of fans. If you want to make your fans feel special, you can name your page. So romance author Sarah Bale, her page is called Sarah Bale's Lost Souls. And if I remember correctly, when she got ready to name it, she had several choices up and did a poll. And so let the readers decide what the group was going to be called. Some will declare that a page as authorized or official fan page. But it's, it just makes them feel special. So you need to engage with your fans and ask open-ended questions. Even if the fan base is small and they're not good at responding, it's not always going to be like that. But you have to take the lead. You have to, even when it's deafening silence on the other end, you have to keep going in there and asking those questions. And then one day somebody's going to respond and you're going to be amazed, and then it just rolls from there. Now, Facebook Live events are fun, particularly if you're launching a new book or doing a cover reveal or something like that. If you can enlist a few friends to be audience plants when you do something like that, it will help to get the organic audience more engaged because nobody wants to be the first one to ask a question. And the best thing about Facebook Live is that when it's over, you can choose whether or not you want to retain that video. So if it was a big flop, you can just say, okay, goodbye, and it's gone. But if it was really good, you can save it and it will appear on your Facebook page so people can come back and watch the replay later. So regarding memes and graphics and things like that, remember that your personal and professional lives are separate. So keep it neutral, whatever you're posting. I create graphics for all kinds of things. I do Canada Day, National Chocolate Milkshake Day, just everything. Today is National Dance Day, and I have a graphic for that. So Facebook ads can be very effective, but you need to know how to create your audience. Think about who reads your books, then of those people, who has the subset, or what is the subset that has the time and the disposable income. So add multiple layers to define the audience. If you write cozy mysteries with animals, you could put cozy mysteries as your main, and then under must also have one of, you would put things like dog rescue or humane society or cat rescue. And so then it's going to serve ads to people who like cozy mysteries and one of these animal organizations. So that's your target right there. Your audience size should be at least 1 million and probably not more than 15 million. And it has a little thing on the side that tells you, how big it should be. And that is a lot of people, but there's, I don't know the official number, but I'm just going to say like 900 gajillion people on Facebook. So getting 1 million people in your audience is not that bad. And if you have targeted your audience correctly, then you're looking at 1 million to 15 million people that are your potential readers. So yeah. But if you are not an expert at Facebook ads, don't dump a lot of money into them. And this goes for any of the ads that we're talking about today. Use a budget of just a few dollars a day, depending on the service and the size of the audience and how long you want it to run. You can do them for as little as $1 a day, but you know, $3 to $5 a day is good. And then you monitor them. Give them about 3 days to start performing, 3 to 4 days. And then if you're not getting clicks, just turn the ad off. So that's the beauty of it. Used to, like if you wanted to run an ad in a magazine, you paid that $1,200 or whatever it was up front, and it ran, and then you either got something back from it or not, and you didn't know until it ran. Well, it's different now. You can monitor it in real time, and anything that's underperforming, you turn it off and you revise it. You know, maybe it just needs a little tweak. They give you lots of good information. So don't spend money that you don't have to. So keep your initial investment small and turn off underperforming ads. If you find that you're really good at ads with a particular social media and you're getting lots of feedback and lots of sales, then up your money a little bit. So take some of that money that you're earning from sales and dump it back into ads. But starting out, don't. It can be a real money pit, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, and here's an example of the things I post. This is my National Dance Day post today, and I decided to share this one with you because that beautiful ballerina there happens to be my daughter. And that was one of her senior pictures from, believe it or not, 5 years ago. So that's just the kind of very neutral thing that you share. So okay, Instagram. Instagram is now part of Facebook. And it is also, you can see where the younger generation is hanging out. What can you do on Instagram? It's very graphics heavy. As a matter of fact, you cannot post text only to Instagram. You have to have a graphic, a photo, and then you can post text. In addition to following accounts, people also follow hashtags. They probably follow hashtags more than they do specific accounts, which is why you need to use them in your post. If you feel like you've got too many hashtags in your post, you're almost there. So keep going. You can mirror post between Facebook and Instagram, which can save you some time. Just remember when you're creating graphics to create them in the Instagram format, because it's a square and Facebook will let you do a square or a rectangle. So you want them to always be square if you're going to mirror them. You can also do that with videos, so that can save you a little bit of time. So when somebody looks, oh, that says Facebook, it should say Insta. When someone looks at your main Instagram page, they see a grid. It used to be called the 9 grid, but anyway, and it's all your little posts from the last however many days. So something that's become popular is to create a puzzle. So you take a larger picture and you break it down, and so you're only posting part of the picture, of the total picture each day or each hour, however long you want to run it. And then when you release the final piece, when people look at your main page, they see the entire graphic. So this is a great thing for big announcements and cover reveals and things like that. And I'm going to show you an example of that in just a minute. So Bookstagram is the #1 hashtag for books on Instagram. Follow it, use it. Follow Bookstagrammers that like your genre, and be active on liking and sharing posts. So, and if you need to learn how to share a post on Instagram because it's a little tricky, then go to Social Media Examiner and search that question, and it will tell you how to do it. And lastly, Instagram does have an ad option, and it's set up through your Facebook Ads Manager. But if you want to do ads on Instagram, let's think back to our stats that we looked at. The audiences are not the same. So don't just use the same ad for Facebook and the same audience for Facebook and Instagram. Set up 2 different audiences, maybe 2 different ads. Actually, when you're running ads, it's not a bad idea for the graphics to create 2 or 3 separate ones. So instead of running, you know, 1 ad for $10 a day, run 3 ads for $3 a day, and then turn off the underperforming ones and put that money into the ones that are performing better. So yeah, just keep that data in mind. We have all the lovely numbers. It's really a great time to be doing any kind of advertising because it's all right there for you to discover. So you have that data, don't waste it. So there is an example on the left. That's what my 9 grid looked like the other day when I grabbed this, and on the right is a mock-up of a puzzle. So you can see they gave just a little bit, and then on the 6th day you get the whole picture. So it's easy to do, and there are tons and tons of free downloadable templates to do those. There's also some you can buy for just a couple of dollars, but they'll help you do those puzzles. Twitter is where good books go to die. Okay. Once upon a time, it was the place for people in publishing to be. Right now, it is a landmine. You don't sell books on Twitter. And it seems like everybody that is on there is looking for a fight. I don't know if you follow Twitter, but there have been some huge things in the last couple of weeks of last couple of months of authors and editors and agents getting canceled over things that they said on Twitter. And some of them were actually, in my opinion, kind of benign. Maybe not the best choice of words, but not things like, Hitler was my hero. But people just have gone crazy, and they will jump on and they will dox them, which that means finding your personal information, your phone number, your kids' names in schools and stuff like that, and posting it to the internet. It is a dangerous place to be right now. So my professional advice is to stay away unless you want to replace HBO and you just want to go on and watch. But do not interact on Twitter. If you go and you look at my Twitter account, there hasn't been anything posted in months. I don't even post my graphics to Twitter anymore because it's insane. So, okay. Oh, hi, Chris is here. So, okay, Pinterest. Oh, I love this one. So something that's not shown in this graph is that out of all the social media, this one has users with the highest annual income. This is where the ladies who lunch hang out, okay? So if you write women's fiction or something that attracts that group, this is where you want to be. These are your people. So what all can you do on Pinterest? Cover reveals on Pinterest. Graphics, because it is a graphic sharing site. Quotes. People love quotes. So if you can use a famous quote, something from Mother Teresa or whatever, and then brand it down at the bottom for you. You can share video, which is pretty new, and you can do ads. Yay. So again, this is where the women with money hang out. So if this is your audience, you want to be running ads on Pinterest. And I'll be honest, I just started running ads on Pinterest earlier this week because I'm lame. And I am so excited to see what happens with them because I think it's going to be good. But so to do this, you can create and share content from a personal account. But if you want to do ads, you need a business account. And I have been sharing things from a personal account, but then I just created this business account and I'm in the process of moving things over and posting everything to the business account because why not? I mean, brand yourself, be out there. But for those of you who don't know about Pinterest, users share or repin posts, and most of them have really carefully curated boards. So they'll have, you know, they may have, like I have books worth reading, and then I have beautiful covers and things. So I have a lot of, mine comes from when I had a book review blog. So mine is very book centric, but then I also have things like ideas for when I took my niece and nephew to Disney World, you know, stuff like that. So, but they follow users and they follow boards with similar interest. So you just provide the content once, and then the Pinterest users do the rest for you. They share it all, and so it's a one-time time investment for you. YouTube. This one shocked me. I did not realize how huge the YouTube audience was. The core demographic is males 18 to 29, but it looks like almost anyone can find their demographic on YouTube at some point. So if you want to do YouTube, what can you do? You can set up your own channel. It's free and it's fairly simple. Betty has one. And from that, you can serve private videos to your fans, which is kind of neat. If you have a book trailer or a big announcement and you want to share it with a specific group first, you post it and you mark it as private. And then people need a link in order to see it. And then, I mean, you can't even search and find the video and see that it's private. It's completely hidden. And then after your period of exclusivity ends, you just mark it public, and then everybody can see
something. Who'd be dumb enough to do something like that?
to mark it as.
I didn't drop them all. I only dropped like 4.
Oh, okay. Well, I think we're talking about something else. So, and it sounds like Misty. So.
I'm sorry. I thought I was on mute.
It's okay. So anyway, that's a great thing to go private to public. And then you can share pre-recorded videos. So again, we're talking about your Facebook Live or your Zoom or whatever. You can share that to your YouTube channel later. You can also live stream on YouTube if you are into that and your audience is into that. And if your readers are highly engaged with live streams, and I'm thinking specifically like young adult audiences are pretty into that, and you're willing to put in the time to cultivate that audience, there are services that you can purchase, which are really pretty reasonable, you know, $20, $25 a month, that will allow you to live stream across multiple platforms simultaneously and have multiple people in the live stream. So you can be interviewing someone else or somebody can be interviewing you, or but there's a lot you can do with it if that's your audience. And as always, you can run ads on YouTube. I don't know that a video sharing platform is the best place to run ads for your books. I mean, it might be, but it hasn't proven itself enough to me that I want to put money into it yet. So Snapchat. Okay, again, here there's younger people in Snapchat, and it's basically a shorthand communication. For those of you who don't know what Snapchat is, basically you have a picture or a graphic and you can only add a few words to it, or you can put a sticker over it and it sends it out. It can be public or to your audience. And unless the user sets it to be reviewable, then you can see it one time for something like 15 seconds. It's a very weird kind of thing, I think, and it's mostly for, again, the younger set who share it, you know, and they're like Starbucks Life, and it's a picture of their Frappuccino, that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't know that there's a whole lot of use for us in it. But you can create a user account to send pictures to anybody who follows you. You can post, you know, with a short teaser or whatever. You can run ads on it. But the one thing that I think is probably the most beneficial for authors is the ability to set geo filters. These aren't free, but they're not terribly expensive unless you're trying to cover a very wide area or a very popular area. So like if I went to Jerry World in Arlington on the day that they're doing a football game, and I wanted to have a Snapchat filter, it would probably cost me a few grand, you know. But if you know, my neighborhood was having a barbecue and I wanted to put a Snapchat filter for that, probably cost me about $10. So it varies widely. But basically what a geofilter does is it allows Snapchat users to put a custom frame around their Snapchat at a specific location during a specific time. So I think it would be especially good for book launches when we're able to do things in person again, and for YA books, because that's where a lot of your users are. But anyone who is in that area during the time, if they go to send a Snapchat, that filter is going to show up. So you don't have to tell people, hey, use my Snapchat filter. If they're there and they pull it up, it's going to say, hey, do you want to use one of these filters? So let's take a look at, there's a sample of some of the filters. And you know, you could put your book cover, you could hashtag your book name, or you know, there's all kinds of things you can do with it. So again, if you can get one for a few bucks and that's your audience, it's a great way to go. Okay,
so for Instagram?
Those are for Snapchat.
But do they have one for Instagram too?
You know, I'm not sure. I don't do Instagram Live, but they may for Instagram Live. That would be worth looking into. Okay, so Goodreads. You probably are already familiar with Goodreads, and if you're not, you could be in the wrong Zoom room. So, and not everybody loves Goodreads. I don't. I've never liked Goodreads, but I do it because I have to. Have you already claimed your author profile? That's the big question for all of you. If you haven't, you need to. Okay, go ahead and claim your profile. And then, are you using it to maximum effect? So Kim has the one sheet that I send to my authors that it's the best practices for using Goodreads. There you go. It's very simple. It's basically interact, because every time you interact with somebody, it shows up on their feed, and the people they interact see it. So it's kind of like Pinterest, in that you put the investment in one and it's kind of a chain reaction. You can run ads, but your money is probably better spent elsewhere, because it's nothing but books on that page. It's crazy, right? And is yours going to stand out when they're looking specifically for something else? So it's probably not a great investment. Now they do the things where you can do a giveaway. There's a $119 version, and then there's a $599 version. The $119 version is fine if you want to do it. I'm not saying that I recommend it, but I don't not recommend it. So what it is good for is to get people to add you to their TBR, their to be read list, and get that number up. So if you have $119 to spare and you want to get your book on a TBR list so that it's seen by more people, then do that, because in order to enter the giveaway, people have to add it to their list. So you can get your numbers up that way. If you do the digital version, it says up to 100 Kindle copies. A lot of people think, oh, I can't do 100 Kindle copies. That's just money out of my pocket. You don't have to do 100. It's up to 100. So you're good. And then the $5.99 one, just don't even. It's not worth it. So, and if you're doing a print copy, you can do, if you do like 3 signed copies with bookmarks and swag or whatever, people love that. They're going to add it, even if they're not interested in the book, they're going to add you. So, you know, it doesn't have to be outside of the initial investment of $119. It doesn't have to cost you a lot of money to do this. If you did print books and you did 3 of them and some swag, you know, you're looking at and even if you did ebook giveaway, you're looking at less than $200, you know, for the whole thing. So that symbol to the right of that, you probably don't recognize. That is for Storygraph. They are actually still in beta, and they want to take on Goodreads. I just went on and messed around on this the other day, and I love it. Okay, I love it. Rather than relying on recommendations for others, you fill out a quick little form about what you like, and then it generates recommendations for you. And of course, you can look up any book by name or ISBN, and they tag it like with fast pace, romantic, sad, you know, so that's how they are making their recommendations, because they look like at books that you've read in the past and how you've ranked them or how you rate them. And then they say, okay, well, that book has these elements and she gave it a 5-star, so we're going to work that into her recommendations. So it's really, I mean, you just need to go on and play around with it, but I really am liking it. So go on and add your books if they're not there. I went on to do the Fawkes Press books, and about half of them were already there, and the other half I added. People can copy and paste their reviews from somewhere else onto Storygraph, which would be very helpful for you. Because as you get reviews, Storygraph learns more about your book, and it can recommend it to more people. Oh, sorry, lost my place in my notes, and 12 hours. So I did talk to them about author profiles and publisher profiles. They don't have those yet. Again, they're still in beta. They are going to eventually have author profiles, but, and this is interesting, they do not intend to sell ads. They want to keep it an ad-free. I don't know how they're going to do that. There's got to be some kind of, either it's going to have to eventually be a paid service, or there's going to have to be some kind of ads, and maybe it's just not book ads. But they seemed pretty solid on that. They did not want to run book ads. So anyway, it's a neat little thing. So get your books up there, get people to transfer their reviews over. Also, the book doesn't have to be published. It can be in pre-publication and get a review up there. It just has to have, it has to be up for pre-sale. But so that's good to that's another thing like Goodreads that versus Amazon that won't let you put reviews up until it's for sale, which is stupid, or until it's actually, your launch date. So anyway, that's a really fun one to check out, and I feel like we're going to see good things out of Storygraph. So BookBub, everybody knows BookBub, but what do you know about BookBub readers? Okay, now this one I am just going to have to read straight off my paper. They are avid readers. 63% read at least one book per week. The number of men is growing steadily. It has increased by over 60% in the last 4 years, but it still skews very heavily to women. 76% of all users, BookBub users, are women. But BookBub users are middle-aged and older. 77% are 45 or older, and 36% are retired. That puts them, though, at the very desirable intersection of being readers with time on their hands. Now, the most important information is that while 24% of BookBub users say they exclusively purchase discount books, 76%, 3 out of 4, say they buy both discounted and full price books. That's good news for your read through if you want to entice someone to read your full price book, your new book, by offering an earlier book at a discount. And this is my favorite stat. A full 65% say that they have purchased another book by an author after being introduced by a free or heavily discounted book. So those kind of numbers are why BookBub can charge the money they do, because they get results. Okay, so what can you do on BookBub? Feature deal. I think everybody is familiar with the feature deal, so I'm not going to go into great detail. I'm just going to note that this is not a good investment for a single title. If you only have one title out there and you do a featured deal, you're really wasting your money. The name of the game is read through. You want to offer a deal on an earlier book to get them to read that, like it, and then buy your books, the rest of the books in your series. So like we have one series that's got 5 books, and it's going to be a total of 7 series. It's got 5 books, the 6th one releasing in 2021. We are looking at doing a deal in the weeks prior to book 6 releasing, because we wanted to maximize what we've got. And depending on what the market's doing, we may wait until book 7. I mean, we want to really maximize it because they are not cheap. So does anybody here know how many followers you have on BookBub? A lot of people don't even know you can have followers on BookBub. So if you haven't claimed your author account, you need to go in and do that. That's step number 1. And then you need to start recruiting followers. You want to have at least 1,000 followers. And it's funny, if you go on, some big name authors have much fewer followers than what I would have suspected. But 1,000 is kind of the magic number with BookBub. It makes you eligible for different things. And one of those is that it makes you eligible for a pre-order alert. This is a paid service, but it's much, much less expensive than a feature deal. And it's a great way to get those pre-order numbers up. So what would happen is that you have to apply for it, just like for a regular BookBub deal. Sorry, I've got more cats walking around. And then it would take your all your followers, and then I think it's 7 to 30 days you choose in there before your book goes on sale. It sends them a pre-order alert. And just like a regular BookBub feature deal where it has the buttons to click to take you directly to buy, it'll take you directly to pre-order. That's amazing. I mean, it really is. So, and that's a fairly new product that they have. So if you can get those numbers up, that's something you consider for your next release. They do send, once it is released, they will send a notice to your followers that it has been released, and that's a free service. And any number of followers will make you eligible for make sure I read this correctly, a featured new release deal. So it runs kind of like a featured deal, except that it doesn't have to be discounted, and it has to be within, I think you can apply for it 6 months before your release date, and it is then sent in the week of your release. So if you can do make sure I'm getting this right. So they can be pricey. I don't know that they are always worth the investment. But saying that, I have 2 scheduled for the next couple of months, one for a YA and one for a middle grade. But each of those is just about $100. So if I don't sell a single book directly from those emails, it's okay, because I have that is part of the marketing budget, and obviously I want to sell books from it, but I'm not looking at it saying, okay, I have to sell X number of books to make this pay off. But larger categories like mysteries can be more than 10 times that cost. And that is an amount of money that I'm not willing to put out if I'm not sure I'm going to get a significant return on it. So whether the featured new release is a good product for you really depends on your budget and your comfort level. So I want to go back to the new release notice that it's free. If you can get a featured deal on an early book a couple of weeks or even a couple of months before your new book is released, then you're going to get all these new followers with your featured deal, and then in 2 weeks, 2 months, whatever, they're going to get an email that says, hey, this person just released a new book. If you can time it like that, that's really what you want. That's perfect timing to get the most out of your BookBub dollars. So BookBub ads. One thing I like about BookBub ads is there's just one per email when they go in an email. So unlike some where you're just packed in with all these others, if yours shows up in an email, it's the only ad to show up in that email. So you need to choose one comp author with at least 1,000 followers, and even better if they have a new release coming out. And the reason is because your ad is going to be served at the bottom of emails about that person, about that person's books. So taking an example here, Misty has a time travel romance. Shelley Thacker is a popular time travel romance author. Shelley has 8,292 BookBub followers. She also has a new book coming out November 17th. So if Misty were to run BookBub ads beginning around November 15th, targeting ads of Shelley Thacker, it could reasonably result in clicks for Misty's books because they share an audience. She's going to get a new release notice that goes out because she has more than 1,000 fans. And Misty's ad will be served at the bottom of some of those if she does her targeting correctly. So it took me less than 10 minutes to find all that last night. If I spent more time, I could probably find a better target for Misty. So Misty, if you're listening, don't necessarily run out and do ads for Shelley Thacker because you can probably do even better. But the point is that information is there. You just need to take the time to pull it together. And it's not like it's going to take you all day. Just sit down and do the work before you spend the money. And finally, if you have audiobooks, BookBub also runs ads for Chirp. So now if you're Audible exclusive, that won't help you. But if your audios are wide, then that you can do discounts through Chirp and run ads for them. Okay, LitRing. You may not know about LitRing, and for lack of a better description, it is a social media vitamin operated by author Melissa Storm and her team. And I mentioned Melissa earlier. She writes under Molly Fitz. So while I'm not super keen on her cozy mysteries, I love what she does with marketing. So this is an example of the kind of promos that you can join. They have tens of thousands of followers across all the different social media platforms. They have, I don't know, something like 25,000 people in their newsletter. It will definitely get eyes on your book. And the way that they do these is like this, treat yourself to a book Kindle Unlimited. They're giving away a Kindle. And it has, I believe it has the books of everybody, of all the authors who have entered this group promo. But the main thing is that it is that they're giving away a Kindle. And so that's why people go on, and then they can get entries by, following on BookBub or subscribing to newsletter or whatever the thing is set up for that individual thing. So they have a hook to bring those people in, and it's something that is better than if you were going to give away a Kindle, and then you'd have to spend $200 out of pocket. You can join in on this and have better reach to your audience and spend $25. So if you find a LitRing promo that fits your book, that is truly a good fit, don't try to wedge something in just because it looks like a neat program, but find one that is a good fit for you. I believe it is a solid $25 investment, because she has a lot of reach, and it's pretty targeted. They do have add-ons that can make it more expensive. So like I think on all of these, for an additional $25, you can get some targeted ads on your site, or I don't know, there's more things. They provide you with all the graphics where you can share, and they go all the way up to a book launch that will cost you a cool $1,000. But the one thing that I can say for them is that they know their business. They get results. So if if any of these work for you and you feel like your budget can take it, then I do recommend Lit Ring and Melissa's team, because they know their stuff. And I don't recommend people very often. So, okay, BookFunnel. BookFunnel began as an ARC management site. And for those of you that don't know, ARC is Advanced Review Copy. That's still the primary use, but it also has a fairly robust promotional community. So the promos can be newsletter builders, they can be sales focused, they can be focused on a specific sales channel like Kindle or Nook. But there is a monthly fee for BookFunnel. I think it's $10 a month for a single author name. But once you're a member, then participation in the promos is free. It might be worth checking it out for a month or two, because unlike some of them where it's like, oh, it's $10 a month, but you have to sign up for 36 months, this is a month by month, so you can check it out. And if it's not working for you, then you can just cancel it. So here's a look at a promo that the promo requirements that I'm running for Fawkes Press. And the focus is hidden monsters, which is actually pretty loose. They just need to have a character who is not who they seem. So it can be the scout leader who's a serial killer, or the beach lifeguard who's a vampire. The main requirement is that it has to be in Kindle Unlimited. So the night before, I have to go through and check all of these. And if they're not in Kindle Unlimited, I have to remove them. And I've already removed a couple because they weren't in Kindle Unlimited. And when I emailed to remind them that they would need to be in there before the promo started, they're like, oh, I don't do Kindle Unlimited. Well, you didn't read the description then. So you have to remove those. But the good thing about running your own promos is that if there's a book in there and you think this book is not, I don't want this book around my book, you can remove them. So you're in charge of your own promos, and I like that. With this particular one, I'm requiring authors to share the link twice during the week of the promotion, and every author gets their own sharing link, so you do know who does and doesn't share, and you can also see how many times each cover is clicked on. Then that information is available, so I can go on, like the people that have signed up for this, I can see how they did for the last several that they were in. So I can see that if they don't share, but their book gets lots of clicks, then I don't want them in mine. I want them sharing. So it's kind of nice. But let's give you an example of this is what, if you clicked on the link, this is what you would see. And if you could scroll down, you would see the covers to all the books. Then if a person sees a book cover they like and they click on that, it takes them to a landing page that has a description and then the buy links on it. So I do have a couple of warnings about BookFunnel though. And the main one is that make sure that the books that you're in promos with are the kind of books that you want to be associated with. So you're not going to do yourself any favors if you've worked really hard. We talked about making sure your book is ready and having a professional cover and good editing. If you've gone to all that trouble and then you put your books in a promo that is full of books that look like they were part of a 5th grade project, you're not doing yourself favors. And don't be fooled by thinking, oh, but mine looks so much better. It's going to attract attention, but it's not. People are going to link you with those books. So don't do that. And beyond that, don't overdo it. There are hundreds of promos that you can join, and it's really tempting to just go through and click and go, oh, I'll do that one and that one and that one and that one. But the thing is, you have to share, and your newsletter readers don't want to get a newsletter that is, a half a dozen links to these promos. They also don't want to get you know, a newsletter twice a week that's nothing but promos. So restrict yourself. Only do the really good promos, or even better, create your own promos. And when you're sharing with your audience, when your newsletter subscribers or your Facebook fans or whatever, give them the quality content and an occasional link for something like this. This is a buy link, so that falls into the same category of how you don't want, no, Rocky, go away. You don't want to give them, you know, a half a dozen of those. You don't want Monday through Thursday to all be buy links and then Friday to be happy, you know, happy Friday. Same thing. This is a buy link. So even though it is sharing other people's work as well. So again, carefully curated promos will get you much better results. Booksprout, it's another ARC management tool, and it has a perfectly free version. It works fantastic. It doesn't have a huge user base like NetGalley does, but it does offer you some discoverability. But for the price, I mean, you really can't go wrong. So you can put up a book and see if you get any bites on it. It does have limits. I think it's 20 books for the free version. So you don't have to worry that your book is going to suddenly catch fire and hundreds of people are going to get a free download. You can just set it and forget it. I put books up there when we're in the review period, when we're trying to get reviews. I put them up there, and I usually don't even think about them again unless I see a review that says I got a free copy via Booksprout. But then the next time I go in to put up a book, I'll see and I'll be like, oh, look, we had 10 downloads of this one. So it really is. It's a set it and forget it and totally free. So I love that. So I really don't know what kind of time we're looking at here. Okay, we're beyond time, but that's cool. So there's all these things. There's so much more. And anybody who knows me, and even if you don't, you've probably figured it out by now. I can talk forever. So I've created a list of links that I think are useful that you can go through at your leisure. It's a bit overwhelming, so just take your time. Get comfortable with one or two platforms or concepts and then add another. You don't have to master it all in 1 week. People have a tendency to want to overdo it. And looking at this, I think that when I created the list, I forgot to put the link for how to do a box set and how that can benefit you. So I'll double check, and if I didn't include that, I will make sure Kim gets it for you. So if you take nothing else away from the day, please remember the word curate. You need to curate your online author interactions. You need to curate your ads audience, and you need to curate the books you associate with. You can sell your book, but you can't do it by taking everything and just throwing it at the wall and hoping that something sticks. You need to curate. So here we go. If you want to stay in touch with me, I would love it if you would sign up for our newsletter. It's fledgling, but I think it's pretty cool. You get all kinds of things. And guess what? We are giving away a Kindle to our newsletter subscribers. So there you go. If you have questions, you can email me. I'm also on your Facebook page. You can always just tag me there, and I'll get back to you. It may not be immediately, but I will get back to you. And I don't know, Kim, do we have time if anybody has questions? Or
have a little time.
Okay, so does anybody have a question?
I do.
Okay, who is I?
Nan.
Okay, what's your question?
You said in the beginning that the Amazon books wouldn't be able to go into the stores. What about Ingram Spark?
Ingram Spark is fine. That's actually who I use. They can go into any bookstore, and there's quite a few. Actually, the only one that I am aware of that is an absolute no-go with bookstores for printed copies is Amazon, and it's just because you know, Amazon is killing independent bookstores and brick and mortar stores. So
Right.
yeah, but no, Ingram Sparks is great. And actually one of the things that is on my list is the let me make sure I get the wording right. International Book Publishers Association, IPBA. It's a link for that. And I don't know what an individual membership cost, but I know that for our small press, it's, I don't know, like $150 a year or something. It's really reasonable. But one of the things that I get for that is an Ingram Spark code that allows me to do uploads and corrections for free. So normally where it's, you know, $50 to upload a book and $25 every time you make a correction, I just have a little code that I put in. It makes it completely free. So if you're doing more than, you know, a couple of uploads per year on Ingram Spark, it is definitely worth joining IBBA to get the coupon. And even if you're not uploading more than that on Ingram Spark, I've felt like I've gotten a lot of good out of IBPA, so it might be something to look at. There's also the ALLI, the Alliance for Independent Authors, and that link is on there as well. So, and I don't know what kind of discount codes they have, but they are a good resource, and especially for things like contests, because some contests really prey on indie authors, and it's, you know, all they're doing is just taking your money. And so they rank, oh, I see another kitty. they rank or rate all the different contests that are available and let you know if there are some that you might be better to stay away from and which ones are really good and really reputable. So
who does that?
ALLI, Alliance of Independent Authors, and the link is on the sheet that Kim has for you. So,
Thank you.
So both of those are worth investigating, and I think almost everything that I provided you with has free options, and some of them also have paid options. But you know, there's a lot of free information out there, so use that, you know, as much as you can. And then when you get to a point where it's like, I can't go any further on this particular concept and I really need to, and there's a paid option, then take the paid option. Because sometimes you'll go in and you'll start working on it and you'll think, you know what, this isn't something I need to do at all. So do that for free. So as you can tell, I am cheap. So I like to make sure that my money is going to get a good ROI. And I don't want to dump it in just because. So that's another thing about feeling good about your books, is if you don't look at it and see, oh, okay, that's $6,000 I'll never get back. So yeah. Anybody else have a question?
I do, Mathis here.
Mathis?
Okay, back on the YouTube deal, you said private, setting your videos to private. Actually, if you set them to private, then nobody but you will be able to look at them. So what you have to do is put them under unlisted. And then you can share
that is correct. Thank you for that correction. It is unlisted, not private, and it has a link. You can tell I'm not the one who handles the YouTube account for Fawkes Press. So I know that it cannot, is not accessible to people without the link, but yes, unlisted, not private.
Right, correct.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mathis knows everything.
No. Yeah, sounds like it. So I want to know which month he's speaking. So,
right.
Anybody else? It's very quiet. Well, I want to ask, has anyone done any of these ads and had success with them? Oh, it's very quiet. Okay. And you'll notice I didn't talk about Amazon ads because that's a whole different, yeah, that's a lot. And all of these are the social media things have free components as well as paid components with advertising. Well, I would like to challenge everyone that has a book out right now. If you don't have your book out, then I want you to just get to work on that book because I want to read it. But if you have a book out, I would challenge you to take one and choose one of these social media things, BookBub, Facebook, Instagram, one of those, and create an ad audience and take $3, $1, whatever the lowest is that it'll let you do, and run an ad for a week just to experiment with it and see what happens and see if you get any clicks, and think about if you can scale that up, that if you have to scale it up, and then come onto the Facebook group and let everybody know. So, and I will let you know, I told you I just started running a Pinterest ad, and I will let you know. I think I set it at $5 a day. It's pretty low. So I'll let you know how that does. And we're also about to start some Facebook carousel ads, which I've never done before. That's where you slide through all the pictures, and you may be like me where you've seen a picture of one thing that looks interesting, and so you slide and you slide and you slide, and then the next thing you know, you're taken to a website because you've reached the end of the slides. That's what we're doing. So we're going to see if I'm the only person who does that and just keeps looking at the slides until it takes me to a page. I am embarrassed to say how many things I have bought that way. So hopefully it will work for my books as well. But anyway, we're getting ready to start a carousel ad for the first time. So I'll let you know as well how that does. So because those are all low investment opportunities to get your books out there when you can't be face-to-face, which is always the best way to sell.
Yeah. Well, and I'm very interested in how the Pinterest ad goes, because I've got a lot of followers on Pinterest that I don't have in other places. So I would love to hear about how that works for you.
Yeah, I definitely will keep you in the loop on that. And if you start poking around on it and then have any questions, reach out to me, because we're all in this together. And people say that, what is the saying now? That a rising tide lifts all boats.
That's right.
You know what? So we should share information and not see each other as the competition. It's community, not competition. So, so I would like to see everybody give it a try and share, and let's see if we can't get everybody just selling.
Great.
So, and also, I obviously didn't have enough time to actually get into creating graphics. So I might do that as a separate thing, just to kind of show people. I can share my screen and show people. So if you want to, if you would be interested in that, then let me know either on the Facebook page or shoot me an email. And if I decide to do that, I'll make sure to let you know that, because it's pretty easy.
Awesome.
It would be great. It would be great to have another presentation about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, if there's enough interest, I'll see if I can find a time and just do one. So I can, since the screen sharing, now that I know how it works, that I should be able to actually do ads, pull together some ads right there while you're waiting, and show you how the different tools work and how easy it is. So
yes, that would be
okay.
All
All right. Well, I really appreciate you guys having me today. It's been fun. I'm sorry I didn't get to come to Amarillo. I missed out on the 72-ounce steak.
Next time.
Next time, I would when all this is over, when 2020 has passed, I would love to come and actually see you guys in Amarillo.
Absolutely. We would love to have
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jodi.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I don't know how to end this, so I'm throwing back to you, Kim.
All right. Thank you so much. Is there anybody else that has any announcements that they need to make before we close? All right. Well, then everybody have a wonderful day. And I will have those resources that Jodi gave us. I'll have those on the website and available through the Facebook page. And as soon as she gets that other one, I'll put it up too. So y'all give me about 15 minutes and we'll have those ready. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Everybody.